contact information, so you can do that sort of virtually. If you do not wish to be, if you do not wish for your contact information to be on that list, please reach out to me and hopefully offer another way for people to get in touch with you. That would be fine, but just make sure to do that. That's really all that I have in terms of ground rules. I'm going to turn it over to Amy now, Amy Loprest, our Executive Director, and she's going to walk us through the presentation about the debates.
Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am, it's a little unusual to be here talking to you like through Zoom. I, prefer to be with you in person, but as always, our debate program is one of the most exciting things we do, and I'm really looking forward to kicking off this process today with you. Matt, have you shared the screen with everyone?
I am going to do that now.
Okay. So just so you know, at the end, we will reserve some time for questions. If you'd like to raise issues, please feel free to put them in the chat function. But as I said, we'll open the floor to discussion at the end of the presentation as well. So let me start you off with a little bit of history. The mandatory CFB debates have been held for every citywide election since 1997. They were added to the city charter following the 1993 elections when there were no mayoral debates held because David Dinkins and Rudy Giuliani couldn't agree on terms, and even though both of those candidates received substantial public matching funds. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the debate program. First, the debate requirement applies to candidates for citywide office, candidates for mayor, public advocate, and controller. The law requires 2 debates for each contested primary and general election. And the second round debate is specifically set aside for leading contenders in each race, which are determined by preset additional eligibility requirements. And we'll talk about that later on. The primary election debate applies to all political parties with ballot status. So the debates will be held whenever there are 2 or more candidates meet the eligibility thresholds. It's always difficult to predict how many debates may be required. Based on current candidate registrations, there would likely be 6 debates. In 2017, we held 6 debates, while in 2013, we held 11. 2013 is also the only year in which primary debates were held for a party other than the Democratic Party. There were 2 primary debates held for the Republican mayoral candidates in that year. So candidates who are participants who opt into the public matching funds program must debate if they appear on the ballot and they meet objective, nonpartisan, and non-discriminatory criteria that are set in advance by the sponsor in consultation with the CFB. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what the statutory debate criteria are. To be eligible in the first round debate, a candidate must raise and spend $182,150. For public advocate and controller candidates, the fundraising threshold is $113,875. And those are the minimum thresholds set in the city law. Candidates in the matching funds program must reach at least this threshold to be eligible to debate. So they must both raise and spend that amount of money. They cannot count loans or public funds towards that threshold. The sponsors may set additional nonpartisan, objective, and non-discriminatory criteria in consultation with the CFB, even for the first round debates. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the thresholds in response to this year's particular election. This is the first citywide elections under the new 8-to-1 matching rate and the lower contribution limits that were adopted in 2018. It's a great change to our program. It encourages small contributions, and it means that public funds will play an even bigger role in the 2021 elections. Campaigns in the 2020 elections have an option to choose either to use the 8-to-1 rate and the lower contribution limit, or the old 6-to-1 rate and the higher contribution limit, or not participate at all. However, most campaigns, more than 90%, have chosen the new higher rate. So looking at the 20 candidates who have declared or are expected to declare as mayoral candidates, only 3 have chosen the old 6-to-1 option or opted out entirely at this point. Why I'm talking about this in context of the debate program is that the lower contribution limit may make it more challenging for some candidates to reach threshold. In the H1 system, it will take 91 maximum level contributions to hit that threshold for mayor. In 2017, it only took 35 maximum contributions to hit that threshold. As I said before, at this time we have about 20 mayoral candidates. 3 have hit the legal eligibility threshold. Now, of course, 20 candidates is a lot of candidates, but we have a lot of history with multiple candidate debates. We had 7 candidates in the 2013 Democratic primary debates, and there were 10 candidates in the first debate for public advocate in the special election held in 2019. So that's the criteria for the first debate. That's the minimum criteria. The second debate, which is the leading contender debate, the candidates obviously must have met that minimum criteria that's set in the first debate, and any additional criteria established by the sponsor in consultation with the CFB. So just to give you some examples of other criteria, nonpartisan objective criteria that have been used in past years, we have used that the candidates have raised a certain number of small dollar contributions, that they've received endorsements from membership organizations. We've set higher fundraising and spending thresholds, and we've had public polling as a criteria. I just want to give one note about public polling, is that in order for a public poll to be used as eligibility criteria, it must ask about each candidate who appears on the ballot. So if there are 15 candidates on the ballot, even if some of them are not leading contenders, if you're going to use a poll, all 15 candidates will have to be mentioned in that poll. So as I said, all participants must participate in the debates. There are sometimes non-participants in the campaign finance program, people who opt out of the public matching funds. The sponsors may invite these non-participants to join the debates. However, they must meet the same criteria that is set for the participating candidates. The sponsors aren't required to invite non-participating candidates, even when they meet those criteria, and the candidates are not required to participate if they're invited. If a non-participant declines to debate, the debate will go on as scheduled unless there's only one eligible participating candidate, in which case the debate is canceled. And that's true of any debate. If there's only one candidate eligible, there will be no debate. So what are we looking for you to do? What are your responsibilities as a sponsor for the debate program? First, debate sponsors must schedule and secure locations for their debates. In 2021, debates may be held in studio, virtually, or maybe even eventually a public venue. We want these debates to reach the broadest number of New Yorkers, so when you're thinking about your schedule, please consider religious and other holidays and events that could diminish viewership. The sponsors are also responsible for setting the debate ground rules and the format, and choosing the moderators and the panelists. Since this has been an issue in recent debates, both this year for the presidential debates and in 2017, the ground rules should show whether you would cut candidate mics to maintain order on the debate stage, and what would your policy for doing so. One important part of the ground rules is that sponsors cannot negotiate with the candidates in setting the debate format or the ground rules. They have to be set by you outside of talking to the candidates. Other responsibilities for the debates are they must cover the costs of producing, promoting, and broadcasting the debates. This includes any cost to holding at a location. Also, just so you know, since 2017, according to city law, all debates must be simulcast on the city's NYC TV network. So you're going to apply. How are we going to choose what are the criteria we're going to use to choose our sponsors? So when selecting the sponsors, we will consider all of the following. But the sponsors must be able to present a fair and impartial debate as demonstrated by the proposed format and the moderators and participants that you have demonstrated in your application. A sponsor cannot be affiliated with any political party, holder of public office, or any candidate for public office. A sponsor cannot endorse candidates before its scheduled debates. Endorsements may be made in the pending election after the debate is held, however. So, for example, if you plan to make an endorsement for the primary election, that doesn't disqualify you from sponsoring a debate during the general election. However, you cannot make a general election endorsement until after the general election debate. Another criteria that we're going to consider is the format and moderators. Since candidates cannot be involved in negotiating the format, we have a debate requirement, mainly because the reason we can't have the candidates involved is mainly the reason we have a debate program is because the candidates could not agree on the ground rules, and that's why we set all the format and eligibility requirements in advance. But that will be an important criteria in us deciding who will be the sponsors of the debates. Other criteria are the distribution, reach, and audience and promotion. We're looking for sponsors with the ability to reach a wide and diverse audience. The debates have always been simulcast in Spanish. CFB debates have often been rebroadcast in other languages. They've been broadcast in Korean, Punjabi, Greek, Mandarin, and Cantonese. We are looking to build on these efforts and improve our outreach to voters who speak primarily languages other than English. So we're looking for how the sponsor can help with those distribution efforts. We will also evaluate the potential sponsors on how they plan to publicize and promote the debates. Events like the presidential debates promote themselves. We want to see what resources you plan to commit to making sure that New Yorkers are ready to watch your debates. The debate program is held under the CFB's mandate to do voter engagement and education. Part of that mandate is to reach underrepresented voters and educate them about the voting process. We'll judge your applications on your plans to educate voters about the new ranked voting process. So we want to see how ranked choice voting will factor into your debate format. And if you're unfamiliar how ranked choice voting works, voters will be able to rank their top 5 preferences for the first time in 2021. This ranked choice voting allows voters to more fully express their wishes and not worry about only voting strategically. Ranked choice voting is really a positive in 2021, considering the large number of candidates that are registered. As I said before, we have almost 20 mayoral candidates registered. So voters will be able to rank their top 5 choices. We also want to see your plans to increase voter engagement. We print and mail the voter guide to every household with a registered voter and promote it heavily online. How will your debates complement that voter guide? How will you encourage New Yorkers to engage in the debate? Will you actively solicit input from voters to develop debate questions? We also want to hear your plans for using the debates to inform the voters about the campaign finance program. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how you have to apply. So applicants can apply to be sponsors on their own or in groups. If you haven't received a copy of the application, which was attached to the invitation to this meeting, please contact us and we'll send it right away. if you are working with other organizations on a proposal, we would like one overall proposal document from each group. However, each organization in any group, it has to complete part one of the application, which is their general contact information and the verification form. The list of applicants will be posted on our website. The law requires that the public have the opportunity to comment on the qualifications of potential sponsors, and that review process takes about a month. The application, which was sent with this invitation, or you can get from us after this meeting, is due on November 19th. Some applicants or applicant groups may be brought in for an interview with us. And finally, if your organization is selected, we will work to finalize a memorandum of understanding. So the interviews will take place in mid-December. After we make the selection, we will work on the memorandum of understanding, which is where we memorialize what the candidate eligibility requirements will be for both the first and leading contender debates. And the MOU will also set out specific responsibilities that the sponsors must meet. We hope to take some time to work out those details of the MOU, and we hope to make an announcement of who are the debate sponsors at the end of January. I know it's a lot of information to take in. I am happy to answer any questions that anyone has now. Just raise your hand in the chat function or type your question in the chat function, and we will make you give you ability to ask your question.
So I'll just chime in and say some people have asked about recording this. We have recorded it, and we will be posting this on our website at the end of probably tomorrow, so everybody can have access to it. Just wanted to put that out there for everybody. But if you have questions, just raise your hand, chime in. Be happy to answer anything. I'm sure you guys have got questions about this.
Hey, it's Bob Hart from New York One. I just wanted to make sure that, I know this was the case in past debates, that if there's multiple candidates, that the rules or the law is that they all have to be sharing the same stage or virtual stage, correct?
Yes.
If there's 20 candidates, we would have 20 people on stage or the equivalent.
Yes. Because there's in order to make sure that there's that it's fair and they're broadcast at the same time, it's impossible to do that fairly without having everyone on the same stage at the same time.
Yep, I just wanted to check. Thanks.
Another point that I wanted to raise here for folks is that I know there's been quite a bit of concern about health and safety protocols for the debates, including the presidential debate, debates that have gone on. We have been in touch with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene for the city. They're understandably very busy right now, but they have agreed to consult with us and with sponsors about any guidelines for hosting the debates, whether it be in studio, what have you, and they will be available to help us going into the spring and when the debate events start to come up on the calendar.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll add to that because we understand that this year, going into 2021 is unique and it's hard to make plans, we expect that sponsors in their applications will be putting in contingency plans. So, what would be the ideal if it's medically or allowable to do, or if what would happen if there was something needed to be virtual because for health considerations, we couldn't have people all on the same stage.
Hi, it's Kathy from the League. Will the Campaign Finance Board provide a platform that would hold 20 people to the sponsoring organizations, or would that be media partners' responsibility?
The locations for the debates are the sponsor's responsibility. Am I answering your question right? Is that what, I was a little bit hard to hear you, so if I did not answer the question you asked, please just ask it again.
Okay, if we're on Zoom because of health reasons, would campaign finance board have a platform for a 20-male campaign debate to be used by these the people that are here?
Oh, I mean, if for a virtual platform, I suppose, I mean, I hadn't, and generally, when the, the location, the studio, or if it's on, in a venue, that's the debate sponsor's responsibility. I suppose that we could work with a debate sponsor to provide, a Zoom platform if that was a virtual debate. But again, mostly those are the responsibility of the partner organization, of the sponsor organizations.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, this is Doug with the Borough Manhattan Community College. We partnered with New York One for the special election debate for the Public Advocate's Office in 2019. And I just wanted to put out there that we would be a willing partner with another entity to host the debates for the primary and the general. Most likely, we have the venue space. We have 2 theaters on campus, and we can be engaged in our student, faculty, and staff education and engagement in the event, but would look to partners to help kind of round out the application and fill in some of the other requirements. So I just wanted to put that out there for everyone who's on the call. If you are looking for partners with a venue and a student, staff, and faculty body, we're happy to partner.
Similar to your request, I would say as a representative from the league that we are also putting out the same request, that if there is a group out there that has the media platform and is looking to solicit a nonpartisan caveat to share the responsibilities, please lean on the league. We welcome a partnership. We were on the slate for the special elections as well, and would be welcome to join other organizations as a partner.
Thank you.
And I would just add, you can get my contact information, Doug Israel, I'm the Director of Government Relations. You can get it from Matt or Amy to follow up.
And as Matt said in the beginning, we will be putting out the list of everyone who attended, all the contact information. So thank you, both the Doug and Crystal, for that information. Are there any more questions?
Everybody's just focused on the presidential debate tonight, huh?
I know there's one more debate, more pressing debate coming up, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, we with the change in the election cycle to have the primary in June, this was pretty much the latest we could hold this, kick off this event, our program, because we want to make sure that we have our partners in line well in advance of the debates.
I think it's smart to get out in front of it, and thank you for giving us a concise background for those people who might be new to the process, and for those of us who've been in it.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, well, we are here to answer any questions. I think you all know where to find me and the team. We will be in touch with the list of people who are joining this call today.
Yeah. Could you
shortly.
unplug me?
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm not going to keep you. I know everybody's busy, probably preparing for tonight's debates, but we'll let you go then, and definitely reach out if you have any other questions. You start taking a look at the application and something doesn't sit right, please reach out,
This is
okay?
going to get put back in my lab.
What is it?
Okay.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.